What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. And with this video, we are jumping into the epic conclusion of 10 Deaths of Wolverine, issue number 5. If you have not been keeping up with this series or the 10 Lives of Wolverine, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything going on with this Wolverine event. And doing a quick recap, what we are seeing is this being a Moira miniseries. While Wolverine definitely plays his part, we are seeing everything unfold after the events of Mystique and Destiny using the nullifier and taking away Moira's powers. No longer being a mutant, no longer having the power of resurrection, there is no more restarting the timeline. And though she was on the run for quite some time, she made her way back to Krakowa. Having terminally ill cancer, she knew that her days were limited, going in trying to take down Krakowa with whatever life she has left. Unfortunately for Moira, she never left this island alive. Be sure to buy the comic, support the industry, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we are diving into the final issue of this series, we are picking up with Moira bleeding out saying her last words. As she thinks back on all of the 10 lives that she has lived. This is never how she wanted it to end. But with her dying breath, she swears that she will not let Charles Xavier win. And right now on the island of Krakowa, Moira was really the least of their concern, because we have Omega Wolverine coming from 1,000 years in the future. He finds himself all the way back here to stop Moira. And though he was able to do this, it came at a heavy cost. That cost was his mutant ability. With Moira stealing the nullifier from Forge's armory, she used it on Omega Wolverine, with his healing factor being the only thing keeping Phalanx at bay. When his mutant abilities go away, Phalanx completely takes over. And all of our Wolverines, they are fighting with every bit of their power right now. They are trying to hold this Phalanx off, but he has one goal. Phalanx Wolverine is headed for the cradle. It is going there to infect. With Cerebro being a port, it's an access point for all of their biotech network. If Phalanx is able to upload to this, it would be everywhere. It would be every win. And so as Beast worked frantically to make the Cradle an independent unit and separated from the network, Sage, she had something else in mind. While Sage gets to work on the Cerebro sword, we have all of our Wolverines just trying to slow Omega Wolverine down. And this is exactly what they let Sage know. Lucky for the Wolverines, this is where Logan shows up. And Logan wastes no time going in and taking on Omega Wolverine, with the Phalanx trying to let him know that all of his efforts are futile, because once he makes it to the cradle, it will be completely over for all mutant kind. The future of 1,000 years, it will start today. And so while Logan holds him at bay, we have Sage who is reprogramming the Cerebro sword. As it glows a bright green, she charges into battle, letting Beast know that he needs to get the systems offline just in case she fails. And as Logan continues to fight Omega Wolverine, he tells all of the other Wolverines they need to stand back, believing that this is his atonement, that he will take all the pain, all the punishment, if it means protecting those kids. If it means protecting all of mutant kind. And with this battle raging on, we see the arrival of Sage, coming in with the Cerebro sword that she reprogrammed with nanites. These nanites are meant to counter-program the engineering of Wolverine's skeleton. This is all in a hopes to stop the Phalanx by stopping the vehicle itself. With her throwing the sword to Logan, he grabs hold of it and he thrusts it into the chest of Omega Wolverine. And a giant surge of green energy blasts all of them back, leaving nothing but a skeleton left over of what was Omega Wolverine, with the adamantium being scrubbed clean of any technology, of any circuitry. We see the island Krakowa take it into itself. And with the defeat of Omega Wolverine, Logan is ready for a drink. With all of our Wolverines, Charles Xavier and Jean Grey, all celebrating this victory. Today, they saved mutant kind. Not only did they defeat Moira, but they also deleted Phalanx. And furthermore, they even defeated Omega Red. And while Logan doesn't really think that this is a celebration, this is a more, we're lucky we're alive. Off in the corner, we have Beast and Sage having a conversation. And Beast makes a really great insight right here. Because there is one very important thing that everyone needs to acknowledge. The only reason they won today is because of Wolverine. He is the medicine and the penicillin for this fight. Wolverine being the best there is, because he's not like the individuals that are on the council, as they try to guide Krakowa and worry about endless, over-diplomatic nonsense. Wolverine is the best there is because he is a savage killer. And while Beast doesn't love him, he understands that he is the sharpest tool they have. And while many, they prefer not to acknowledge this fact, in the end, force wins. Stabbing, gutting, and killing. That is what's going to save the world. And so while our Krakoans, they celebrate this day, we pick up a little later on, 10 days after the death of Moira. And while the X-Men and all of Krakowa believe her to be dead, the truth of the matter is she loaded her consciousness into a robot. She may not have mutant abilities anymore, but through science and technology, Moira is now living her 11th life, coming back as Moira Sentinel. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now there's a couple of things that we need to dive into. The first thing I want to bring up is a little bit of history they give us. Inside this comic, they're letting us know that in the future, we learn exactly what mutants are taken out, or at least notable mutants that are taken out. The first one being Marvel Girl, aka Jean Grey, because Jean Grey, she was essentially a nuclear bomb waiting to go off. If Moira and the Sentinels, Orcus, all of them are going to overcome Krakowa, they had to take her down first. Using a spy, they are able to poison her. Her completely unaware of this, they are taking her off the board. Nightcrawler had survived for quite some time by teleporting, but after years of jumping all over the place, eventually his eyesight gave out. He developed cataracts and he was essentially blind. And through his blindness, it was only a matter of time before the Sentinels came for him. Magneto, he fought wave after wave of Sentinels. He destroyed entire platoons, thinking that he would be undefeatable. That is until he came in contact with techno-organic forces. Using a cloud of nanites, they got into his lungs and they ate Magneto from the inside out. And when the network of cradles was finally breached by a virus, Charles Xavier collapsed, getting locked inside the Cerebro helmet. This became a prison for him. Now that little bit of information, it could be relatively unimportant to everything that is going to happen. This could be simply a what-if situation if this future had really unfolded. Now there's no saying that this future isn't going to unfold, but at least for today, that future has been stopped. And this issue really did fold out exactly like I thought it was going to. With Moira becoming Moira Sentinel, the Phalanx was getting taken off the board, at least for the time being. More than anything, setting the stage for Immortal X-Men, Destiny, everything that is still yet to come. I think I'm most excited that we're just finally pushing the narrative forward. We're moving the doomsday clock 1 minute closer. And individuals like Beast are finally starting to recognize, though they've been recognizing for quite some time, that the Council, that is the biggest problem with Krakowa right now. Whenever they actually need something done, they call in Logan, they call in the X-Force. They have these guys stab and cut their way through all of their problems. And they're living in a very savage world. Everything wants to destroy them. And so while those of the Council may think that they are high society, that diplomacy can solve it all, Beast is seeing more and more that that's simply not the case. and that what's going to save mutant kind is people like Logan, those willing to go out there, get their hands dirty, and do whatever it takes to protect this nation. And that does really seem like a more extremist type of view, but you really can't blame him either. We have seen so many different things and so many different fronts trying to attack Krakowa and all mutant kind. I mean, as it stands, mutants are banned from all of England. They have aliens on Game World that have been trying to massacre the entire planet. You have Orcus, who is planning the demise of all of Krakowa. You have Moira, who has been working against them and now is working with Orcus. You have Rasputin in Russia, along with Omega Red. You know, I have been saying it for such a long time now. The odds are stacked against them in such great numbers. It looks like it is almost inevitable for them to fall, and it appears that it is almost unavoidable at this point for all-out war. And so with this series really setting up what comes next for all of Krakowa, I for one cannot wait. So give me your thoughts, give me your theories. If you really enjoy the channel, please consider donating using the super thanks button. It will let you donate directly to the channel and it helps us greatly. If you can't do that, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and until the next breakdown.